My name is Ache, and I just want to start by saying thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. I hope you enjoy this episode, and who knows, maybe you can relate. Okay, so for the past few days, all I can think about was, man, I wish I was bad. I want to give into my temptations. People who I would consider bad are living their best lives. Thieves are stealing things and getting away with keeping whatever they stole. Liars and cheaters are getting away with hurting people because the other person just never finds out. Scammers are taking from the poor and making themselves rich. I just don't get it. And you know what? You know who else is living it up? Messy people. And people who do things that are most likely not good for them. And I don't mean messy in terms of cleanliness. I mean messy like going to see that ex just for sex, even though they dogged you. Messy like pulling up to someone's crib to fight them for whatever reason. Messy like scandalous. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like a life of crime and messiness can be so much more easier and fun. Not so much the life of crime, personally, but definitely a life of messiness. I feel like every day my subconscious has just been wanting me to spice my life up because my intrusive thoughts, they're getting out of control. Call him, text him, go to his house. Or even things like call in sick, buy it, spend your money, eat another chocolate bar, stay in bed. I know if I do these things, I'll feel awful after. Every time I've fallen victim to my guilty conscience, it has been some of the worst days for me, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I start to feel guilty. I feel like throwing up. My anxiety goes through the roof. I start to oversweat. I start feeling instant regret. And it's just not fun. I'm just not built for that life. And the past few days really showed me that even the smallest bit of drama is too much for me. It drains my energy, and I'd just rather not even indulge in that. But there's still a little part of me that wonders, what if I just to see if maybe, sometimes it's really hard to fight off temptation, especially when we know it doesn't serve us. And it's even harder when I see people online doing story times on TikTok about the exact same thing that I tried to stop myself from doing, and they're living it up while doing it. So I went to go see my ex. We did it, and then I ghosted him. Felt so good. Or ladies, I lost 150 pounds in 2 weeks, and I still ate all that junk food. You don't need to eat healthy to look good. Blah, 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 blah. Or even, listen, man, life is short. Just quit your job, buy a minivan, and travel across country. You'll figure it out along the way. Like, what? Oh my gosh, remember when Beyonce dropped Break My Soul and people were literally quitting their jobs because she has one line that says, I just fell in love and I just quit my job. I can't make this stuff up. Honestly, I just hope those people found better jobs at least. Maybe it was for the best. I'm just way too scared of the repercussions of my actions to do things that my subconscious tells me to do. You know how a lot of girls, including myself, will joke and be like, I should just be a stripper or do OnlyFans and make money that way. And then we laugh about it and we go back to our regular jobs. But then there's girls out there who will have the exact same thought and then they'll just do it. Like, how did you do that? Sometimes I wish I can be like that, more spontaneous, more scandalous, have less fear of different outcomes. But honestly, the way my life is set up, I can just 100% see that blowing up in my face because I've literally seen it blow up in my face every single time I've given in. I'm very blessed, but I'm not very lucky, and I pray to God that changes soon. But yeah, in terms of being quote unquote good or bad, sometimes I want to be bad. Sometimes I want to fight. Okay, here's the perfect example. Sometimes I wonder how it would have felt to be a fighter back in high school. No one ever got in trouble for fighting. Okay, yeah, a few days of suspension, a slap on the wrist, but nothing else. And that person that got to fight got to get it out of their system. And they got their revenge. There's a good handful of people I would have liked to fight back in high school, mostly guys, because when you go to a predominantly white school filled with Portuguese soccer boys, all you're going to want to do is fight, honestly. And a lot of the girls were just so mean and cruel and evil. And sometimes I wonder if just one pop in the neck would just have made all the difference. I don't know. But yeah, doing bad things and doing good things is subjective anyway. What's bad for me may not be bad for you. It also depends on the way we were raised. What did your parents teach you about good and bad? How were you punished for doing certain things? Why were you even doing certain things? Why were you scared to do certain things? A lot of our responses as adults are trauma responses from things that we learned or went through as kids. I guess the reason why I want to do my version of bad things sometimes is for a few reasons. 1, revenge. 2, wanting to come off as big and bad so no one can hurt me or even think of hurting me. And 3, seeing how great people who do these bad things are living and just wondering why that can't be me. I won't lie to you, but sometimes I want to seek revenge. I'm currently watching Once Upon a Time on Disney Plus, and the evil queen, Regina, she's known for seeking revenge, okay? Like, it's her whole thing. She wants to kill Snow White because Snow White told a secret that the evil queen told her not to tell, and then Snow White opened her big mouth and ruined the queen's life. Now, for years, the queen goes on a killing spree just so that she can find Snow White and kill her. Obviously, that's not the type of revenge I want, but sometimes I just think to myself, I want the other person to feel the pain that they made me feel. I want them to hurt because they hurt me. Sometimes being the bigger person and forgiving and letting things go can take a really long time, even years to do. Sometimes it could even be more painful. Healing is no walk in the park, and there are some people out there who make it almost impossible for the person that they hurt to heal. And I just don't think that's fair. Now, I'm someone who doesn't really know how to navigate the emotion anger. It's not something I feel comfortable feeling, and I don't feel it often, but when I do, I try to find creative ways of letting my anger out. And one of those ways is pretending that there's a boxing ring in my head with everybody I want to fight. And one by one, I would beat these people up in my head. Saying it out loud is crazy, but I just, maybe someone can relate to that. I don't know. I would make time to play the scenario out in my head. And this would actually help me release my anger some way, somehow. But at the end of the day, I would never feel fulfilled. It felt like it wasn't enough because it wasn't real. On the other hand, I see people every day getting their revenge. Oh, he cheated on me, so I bust the windows out his car. Oh, you broke my heart? I'm going to sleep with your dad. Oh, she's looking at other guys? I'm going to break her phone. Oh, she wants to reject me? I'm going to kill her. Too dark? These people, most of the time, feel no ways for getting their revenge. A lot of them sleep so much better at night. And then there's me in a boxing ring with only God knows who. Sometimes I don't want to wait for karma. Sometimes I want to take things into my own hands. But yeah, I also feel like doing bad things or scandalous things can bring a level of confidence to a person, especially if it's executed well and in their favor. I could be wrong, but I think there's a level of confidence that someone needs to have to do certain things. Because I don't know, it takes a brave type of person to do the things that I mentioned when I was talking about revenge. This all just reminds me of this girl I used to be besties with in high school. And she did so many questionable, bad things, like cheating and fighting and just stuff like that. Some might even say she was a free spirit. And she exuded a level of confidence that I used to be so jealous of. Because I wanted to feel that freedom. I wanted to feel like I was in control, and more than anything, I wanted to feel confident, just like her. Because of the way she was, no one who knew her even tried to mess with her. And that's what I wanted. But all jokes aside, I don't have it in me to follow through with my temptations, no matter how tempting they are. Sometimes it's really hard to let go and let God, especially when you're really angry and desperate and longing for something. Personally, I've just had too many bad experiences, and those who don't listen must feel. And I've definitely felt, and I don't want to feel again. While writing this episode, I actually came across some scripture that fit perfectly into what I'm talking about, and it gave me insight into what I should and can do. And I want to share that with you. So it's Romans 12:2. Do not copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. After reading this, it made me super aware of my thoughts and how much I wanted to copy the behaviors of others because of how I think it made them feel. I think it made them feel good and feel free, so I want to do the same thing so that I can feel good and feel free. I think this is why taking the time to learn who you are on the inside and out is very important. Like I mentioned before, I see people doing bad things all the time and nothing happens to them. But I know from experience, if I do those things, there will be consequences. And I'll always know ahead of time if what I want to do or what I'm about to do is going to work against me. Call it intuition or a message from God or a tingly sensation that just lets me know this is not the way for me. It might be the way for you. Maybe your intuition told you to do those things, and maybe you were guided to do it. And that's okay, that's your life. You should follow your instinct. Maybe not always, but that's up to you, and that's your discretion. And then in the same Romans 12, there's verse 17 to 19. Never pay back evil with more evil. Do things in such a way that everyone can see you are honorable. Do all that you can to live in peace with everyone. Dear friends, never take revenge. Leave that to the righteous anger of God. For the scripture says, I will take revenge. I will pay them back, says the Lord. When it comes to people's views on me, I don't really care. But I do want to see myself as an honorable person. And I want to live in peace with myself, which in return will bring peace to others. Those verses were also really reassuring because it says that God will take revenge so that I don't need to. Sometimes we want to see revenge happen so that we can laugh about it or feel and see that you got your vengeance. But unfortunately, a lot of the times we don't get to see it. We don't get to know what happened to the person who hurt us. And once we make peace with that and we finally let go of the revenge and just focus on yourself and your healing, I think that's when we really find peace. You know what I don't like though? Seeing people who've hurt others so bad, like I mean real bad, be so happy. No, I'm sorry, no redemption, no guilt. Especially people who have done my friends and family wrong, because now I really want to get involved. But I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. But I guess that's when you really got to focus on you and mind your business and live your life, even though it is so hard to do that. You know what? I'm okay with being the scaredy cat because at the core of my heart, I don't actually want to do bad things. It hurts me more than it hurts anybody else. And I'm just not that type of person. I want to learn how to sit with my temptations and just let them be that, temptations. I want to be stronger than what I'm tempted to do. I want to be stronger than the person I wanted to seek vengeance on. I want to be stronger than the urges I have due to lack of patience. I worked so hard to learn how to lead with my heart. And the way this world is set up, I feel like I'm always being tested. Like I'm really fighting for my life sometimes. But that's where having faith is really important. Believing in something, listening to your body, to your mind, to your spirit. A lot of times we just want peace. And I promise you, hurting another person is not going to bring you that. Leaning into temptation and instant gratification that only leads you to misery and sadness and more anger, it's definitely not worth it. Like I mentioned before, the way we grew up plays a huge role in the decisions that we make as adults. But you need to do the work to change that, especially when you know it's wrong. If you don't know something is wrong, then I get it. You can't change what you don't know. And it will take time and maybe different experiences to bring that to light. That's fine. But for those who know and keep doing things in the name of, that's what my daddy taught me, or, well, no one else cares about what I do, you're just going to make life harder to live for yourself. And you're going to keep finding excuses to stay stuck in this loop of self-destruction. And trust me, this is coming from a place of understanding. I put the blame on so many people in my life because of the decisions I chose when I knew it was wrong. It may have been their fault that I have trauma and that I think certain things about life and myself. But it's not their fault that I chose to hurt other people in the process of trying to figure myself out. It's not their fault that I continued to use them as an excuse for a lot of my behavior when I knew it was wrong. Again, if you don't know that you're doing wrong, then obviously you won't be able to change, because in the mind of someone who doesn't know, there isn't actually anything to change. Self-realization takes time. It took me a while to know that what I was doing was a problem. We're human. We're going to keep messing up, even after we realize. But when we take accountability and learn to apologize, not only to others, but to ourselves, that's when we can really change. Let go and let God. I know it's so much easier said than done, but I guess that's for us to figure out. I'm still trying to figure it out. And remember, comparison is the thief of joy. Anyway, share this with a friend, and who knows, maybe you can relate, and then have a discussion about it, and then maybe heal together, and grow together, and cry together, and laugh together. This is the Maybe You Can Relate Songs to Discover segment, where I put you on to a new song at the end of every episode. This week, we have a song by an artist named Ferowxrld, an Ontario-based artist currently residing in Ottawa. Crafting original styles ranging from hip-hop to alternative R&B and indie music, Ferowxrld's mission is to unite people through his music while creating tracks for collective enjoyment. With a focus on glorifying God and documenting his spiritual journey, his music resonates with authenticity and purpose. So here it is, MANDO by Ferowxrld.
Charged for a thief and a MANDO. Chilling with my dogs, eating frangos. Never do a tango with a demon or a false. Prophesy that peace, cause we've been eating it all. Throwing up the peace every time. Let everybody wanna see my name in the dirt. Everybody wanna feel the pain and the hurt. Everybody wanna take the name from the word. Everyone the same, so the pain never hurt. Maybe that's life, maybe you're right. Maybe we'll never see God with the naked. I don't know how miracles work, why they need it. I know I've been praying, but I just been feeling like who's the idol we made in our minds? Why take the somewhere immoral and mortals just waiting to dive and potentially pleasing the name? Every day I thank my God for his grace. Talking out of turn, walking in place. Listen to words that were carefully.
If you want to hear the rest of this song, I have all the links in the caption for you to go and do just that. Make sure to follow Ferowxrld on Instagram at f.e.r.ox. I will also have the link to his Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music, so make sure to connect with him and explore collaboration opportunities as he welcomes interactions with fellow artists and fans alike. Embracing the vibes, Ferowxrld is here to spread positivity and gratitude, so go and check him out, and thanks for listening. If you want your song to be on the Maybe You Can Relate Songs to Discover segment, make sure to click the link in my bio, go to the MYCR Songs to Discover form, fill it out, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.